Hello. Good morning, everyone. So this is the workshop live section for the teaching machines. So I would like to know if everyone can hear me. So you can, if you are in the Zoom meeting, you can type in the chat window. Okay. Very good, very good, nice. So it seems like we don't have too many participants, but I hope more will come. So let's get started. So you should be able to see my share screen here. So this is basically the web page I show for the workshop. Indeed, this web page will be what I'm going to use and what you will be using. So this web page on the left hand side, it is the interactive slides. So the slide you see will be slightly different from the slides I use because I'm using actually a master slide that can control all the slides of the participants. So this is an interactive slide. What does it mean? Well, if I move the slide one step forward, then the slides on your browser will also move one step forward. So this is going to help me control the slides, and you should be able to see the most current slide that I'm reading or teaching. Okay. So on the right hand side, it is just a window that you are going to play with later on when I start introducing the teaching machines. Okay. So if there's no questions, I'm going to move on, but feel free to interrupt me at any time by the Q&A function of the Zoom meeting. Okay, if you are joining through the YouTube live, you can also ask questions there using the live chat. Unfortunately, the YouTube live stream has a little bit of delay, so that will take some time for me to see your questions, and you also have some delay in reading the presentation slides. Okay, so I hope everything is okay, and if so, then let me start the teachable machine workshop. Okay, so first step is, of course, you will ask what am I going to learn today? Well, what you are going to learn is to teach a machine to listen to music. Okay, and what you will do is you will try to understand how a machine can learn from examples. After you have completed the workshop, I would like you to think about what are the potentials and also the limitations of machine learning. And finally, I hope all of you have fun. Okay, so let's check on what we are going to teach. So as you can see, there is a box that pop up and ask me to allow microphone. So that's probably going to show similar things depending on your browser. Please click the allow button to allow the microphone. What we are going to do is we want to teach a machine to classify musical note. And I have a demo on the right hand side here. This is a machine that can recognize musical note. By the way, this web interface, you have a middle bar here. You can slide it left or right to kind of magnify the corresponding panel. So right now, I'm not going to use the right panel, so I will drag this middle bar to the right. Okay. Now, in order to understand what we are going to build, so let's look at the panel on the right hand side. First of all, you have to enable the microphone, as I have mentioned just now. Then the next step is to sing the musical note. So let me sing the musical note right now, and please observe the output panel here. Okay, do, better. Okay, so you see the bar for do jump up to 95%. Okay, that means the machine recognize the note is do. There's also a bar for my background noise. So if I'm just saying something that is not a musical note, it will be recognized as background noise. Now let me sing another note. Ray, see, it has 93%. Okay, very good. Now, what about the last note? Me. Okay, so I hope you are convinced that the machine is able to recognize the musical note. But if you look at the window on your machine, you will find that as I sing the note, it could not recognize the output. The reason is because to avoid cheating, I do not allow the computer to listen to himself or herself. Okay, the source has to be coming from outside, so from your microphone. Okay, so even though you are playing the Zoom meeting right now and I'm saying the musical note, your browser is not going to recognize this musical note. Okay. Now there's nothing much for you to tune here. There's only one knob here you can play with, and that knob is of course you can turn off the input, but you probably don't want to do that. Now another knob is this overlap factor. You can slide this slider left or right to change the overlap factor. Now notice what's going to happen if I slide the overlap factor slide bar all the way to the right. Now look at this flashing speed. Now if I go all the way to the left, now the flashing speed is much slower. Anyone know what is this slide bar trying to do? Okay. Well, it's not hard to imagine. Indeed, this is how frequently the machine try to recognize the musical note. So in order to save power, probably we don't want the machine to like to detect your audio too frequently. Okay, so this is the slide bar to tune it. Okay, and then you can also see a box here. This box actually highlight a 1 second window. So the machine is going to make use of this 1 second window to identify the musical note. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, now how can you teach a machine like that? Okay, you are going to teach it, but then do you need to write a lot of programs? Well, not really, because we only have 30 minutes for this workshop, so I'm not going to make you to write any code. After you have joined CTU, if you're interested, you can take a programming course and write more more code. Okay. Now, what you are going to do is you are going to use the website I put on the right-hand side. So this iframe on the right-hand side shows the website. The link is on the left. Of course, this is an interactive slide, so you can click on the link and have this website open on a separate tab. So if you don't like this interface, then you can open it on a separate tab. In order to get started, you can click on this button called Get Started. Okay. Once you click on this button, you'll be able to see there are 3 choices. Okay, I'm going to pause a little bit so that you can open this this page, either on the right panel or on a separate window. Of course, if you use the panel, that will be easier. Okay, because on the left-hand side, you will be seeing the current slide, and then on the right-hand side, you can play with the project directly. Okay. Okay, so let me continue. Okay, so at the beginning, let's choose one of the project. So there are image project, audio project. So let's pick the audio project because we are training a machine that can recognize musical notes. Now, once you click on this audio project, you will see an interface that look like what I've shown here on the slide. Basically, there are 3 steps involved in teaching a machines. The first step is collect data. Okay, so you want to train the machine to recognize your musical notes, right? So you should sing the musical notes to the machine. Now, that is handled on the left-hand side, but then what about the middle one? The middle one is for training. Okay, so you can train a model by clicking a button, okay, instead of writing a lot of programs. Now, what about the final step? The final step is testing. Okay, there's a preview panel here. You will be able to see what you trained and test it. And if you're satisfied with it, then you should deploy the system. Deploying means, well, basically releasing it to other people to use. Okay. Now, the first question then is, how do I collect data? So there's a video here. You can play it on your own if you want to do it afterwards. But then I'm going to explain the steps, so you don't really need to listen to the video right now. And by the way, the interactive slides is also playable offline. So not offline, but then playable at other times. So you can click this play button at the bottom, and it will play basically my audio pre-recorded for the slides. Okay, so don't worry if you miss this live section. Okay. Now let's start with the first thing. So the first thing we need to do to collect data is to actually collect noise. So the machine need to recognize what is noise. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to first go to the background noise panel here, and then there's a mic button on the left. Then go ahead and click this mic button. So I'm going to click it, and I hope you can also do it simultaneously as I do it. Okay, so I'm going to click this mic button. Again, I need to allow the use of microphone, and I'm going to record 20 seconds. So I'm trying to remain silent. Okay, so of course I don't have to remain silent. I can actually say something, but then to improve my accuracy, I think I don't want to kind of put up well the background noise. Okay, so once you have recorded 20 seconds of background noise, then what do you do next? There is a button called the extract sample button. You can extract those samples. So let me click on that one. And now you will see basically there are 20 audio samples, and each of them is 1 second long. Now, why do we need to do that? Well, that has to do with the way people train a machine. They need to train it with many samples instead of just one continuous piece of audio. Okay. Now, we have finished collecting samples of background noise. The next step, which is more interesting step, is to collect samples of the different musical notes. Let's start with Do. Okay. So you will see there's a panel called class 2. Okay, I'm going to change this class 2 to collect samples of Do. Okay, now how do you do that? It's actually similar to what I did before. Just click on the mic button and record the audio. Okay, so let's click on this mic button, and then you will see this panel here. Now, when you see this panel, there's nothing much to play with. Again, there's just one button here, the record, 1 second. But pay attention to this gear icon on the right-hand side. You can change the setting to make life easier for you. So in particular, I'm going to click this gear icon and change the recording durations to 20 seconds. Well, later on, you will find that if you don't do it this way, then you will have to click the record button many times. Okay. Okay, so now once you have done that, you will see that the button for recording is now record 20 seconds instead of 2 seconds. Now, what do you do now? You basically need to click this record button and repeatedly sing the note Do. Now, instead of saying do continuously, what you want to do is to sing do, 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 but roughly 1 second each. Okay, I'm going to click this now and sing that repeatedly. Okay, do, 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 do. Okay. Once you do that, then you can click extract sample. But I'm going to pause for at least 20 seconds so that you guys can record the do note. Okay, so you can start now. So in order not to interfere you, I shouldn't say anything. Okay, 5 more seconds. Okay, don't worry if you cannot catch up. You can also do it afterwards. So now let me click this extract sample. So once I click this extract sample, I'll get again 20 audio samples, and each of them is 1 second. Okay. Then what do I do next? Okay. I'm going to rename this to something more meaningful. So let me call it do. By clicking this pen button here, I can type the class do right here. Okay. Now, the next step is to add the samples, the examples for Ray, another musical note. So to do that, I need to create a new class by clicking this button, add a class. Okay, and once I click this button, you will see there is a panel called class 3. Okay, for this class 3, I'm going to record samples of Ray as well in the same way as before. So what do? I click this mic button, and then I will see this interface. I allow the microphone. Now, next step is to, well, actually the default right now is to record 20 seconds. Very nice. I don't have to change anything. Then I can start basic recording Ray in a similar way as before. Now I'm going to record Ray now, but then I'm going to mute my audio so you can record Ray without me interfering you. Okay, so please go ahead and record Ray in a similar way as you record Do for 20 seconds. Okay, I'm going to wait for 10 seconds. Now, what is the next step? Well, you can now repeatedly add other musical notes. For example, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And then for do, I think it's the same as before, so you don't have to add it again. Now but then before I do that, I need to do something more important. And what is that? To save the data. So data are very valuable, and it takes time to record those data. In order to avoid repeating the entire very tedious and boring process, what you should do is to save your data right now. So how do you save your data? Okay, again, this teachable machine interface make it very convenient for you to save data. All you need to do is to save it to your Google Drive if you have a Google account, and you can also download things locally. So you click on this menu button. So basically the free bar on the top left. Now, once you click on it, then there's a menu item called the Save Project to Drive. Okay, I can click on that one, and then I first have to log into my Drive, and then let me do that. I'm going to log in. Okay, then I can basically type a name for this project. So let me just type do re mi. So it only know do re, so let me just write do re. Okay. Now it is saving all the data to Drive. Nice. Okay. I don't need to open thing in Drive, so let me just continue. Of course, if you don't have a Google account, there's also another option to download the project as a file. So you can click on this, then you will well, choose a folder, choose a location to store the file. Okay, so I'm not going to do it now. So let's move on. Now, the interesting step come next. So how do you train a machine to recognize musical note? Again, there's a video for you to listen to after the section if you want. Now, let me try to explain what we can do now. So the first step is in the training panel. So this is the panel in the middle. So you can see the training panel here. Click on this advanced button. Okay. So once you click on the advanced button, you will see there's something called the epoch. Okay. What is epoch? Well, let me not tell you what it is right now. But let me ask you to change this 50 to just 1. Okay. Now the next step is to click the train model button. Okay, I'm just going to click this button, and you can do the same on your computer. Okay, please click this button because it takes some time to train the model. So it is training now. Oh, nice. Okay, it's finished training. So now in the preview panel, you will be able to see a trained model. Now, of course, again, you need to allow the use of microphone. Let me allow the use of microphone here. And I will be able to see the machine I just trained. So it should be able to recognize 2 musical notes, do and re. So now let's test it. Do. Okay, pretty good. What about re? Okay, also quite good. Okay, it should to well 89%. That's pretty good. Okay, so things should be working. I hope your trained model is also working too. Okay, so the next step is to improve the model. Well, how can you do that? Well, you can increase the number of epochs to 5 or more. Okay, if you do that, then you will be able to train the machine more frequently. Well, not more frequently, but more times. And then it will potentially be able to fit better. Okay. And then you need a longer time to wait for it to complete. I'm not going to do it here. Now, once you have finished training the machine, now you can basically deploy the machine so that other people can use it. How do you do that? There's a button called the Export Model button. So go ahead and click on that one. Once you click this export button, okay, you will see there's one button called the upload my model. So you can upload it to the cloud. So cloud means there's some machine out there on the internet that's staying alive most of the time, and you can basically enjoy that machine to provide service like continuously to other people. Okay, so you click on this button and wait a second. Well, wait a couple seconds for it to upload. And once it's finished uploading, you will see a link here. It's a shareable link you can copy and share with others. So go ahead and copy that one, and then you are going to submit it to me. Okay. So now this shareable link, you can of course open it in a browser and see the model you have trained. Okay, and you can also continue to improve the model. So you can close this window and continue to train, add more classes, and you will see basically using the same shareable link to share to other people. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to use the remaining time to try to explain how things work. Well, it's not going to be very detailed, as you can imagine. We only have 3 minutes. But let me try to give you an idea. So what is going on is actually there is something called the neural network underlying. What we are actually training is basically training this neural network. You can see there are many nodes here. There are neurons. That's what we call it. And there are input to the neuron and also output to the from the neuron. Okay, and on the left-hand side, these are basically the input examples you give. And here is the output predictions from the neurons. So without telling you too many things, so let's just play with it by clicking the play button. Now you can see that what it's trying to do is basically trying to separate the blue points from the orange points. And why is it related to the training you have just done? Well, basically the orange point can be viewed as, let's say, dough, and then the blue point can be viewed as the rays, samples of ray. Now, if a machine are able to separate the two different kind of points, that means it's able to classify the two different musical notes. Of course, you have more musical notes, therefore you will have more complicated like boundaries for the machine to learn. The training involves something called the backpropagation. It's a mathematical optimization techniques, and I cannot tell you too much. Basically, it involves linear algebra and also calculus. So what you have learned in high school is going to be useful. Okay, so I'll skip all this detail. Now, submitting your work. So we have 1 minute to talk about this. How do you submit your work? So there is a course website. Indeed, you can click on that one. Okay, and you will show a panel like this. Now there's a button called the Google. So click on this Google button and you'll be able to log in using your Google account. Now, once you have logged in using your Google account, there is a button called Answer the Questions button. Click on this Answer the Question button and you will have 3 boxes to answer the questions. One is the shareable link. You can Control V and well, I just show you how to basically generate that shareable link. You can put it here, and then also you can tell me how teaching machines can be improved, and what you plan to use teaching machines. So the limitation and the potentials. Once you have finished, you can click the submit your answer button, and then I'll be able to see your work. Okay, so this is the end of the workshop. We are dead on time, so very good. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, email me, and also submit to this your work through this website. Okay. So thanks everyone for joining. Sorry. Now I see there's a question. Is epoch note? Okay, epoch actually is in English. It actually means time. Is how many times you train. So in computer science, iterations is used a lot to improve things. So we iteratively change it many times. So epochs correspond to the number of time you train the machine. Okay, very good. Very nice question, Ho Ho. Okay, so let me end the meeting now. Have a good day.